Hello everyone. Today we are going to start with the profit maximization of a monopolist. So before starting with it, let's let me give you a small introduction how monopoly works. So a monopolist will consider to produce more output when MR is more than equals to MC, which means that if the marginal revenue is more than marginal cost, so he will be producing more and generating profits. We can also write it as MR equals to MC, or MR is also considered as price, so we can write it as P equals to MC. So these are the three conditions for the monopolist to operate. Now let's come to the profit maximization. How monopolist maximizes its profit. So here I have a graph. So let me explain it to you. So, so here it is a on the y-axis we have price, revenue, cost. On the x-axis we have the output. We know that monopoly operates when marginal revenue is more than equals to marginal cost. So here we will draw average revenue curve. So this is our average revenue curve, average revenue, and then we will draw marginal revenue curve. Marginal revenue curve. And we know that for monopolist to operate, marginal revenue should be more than MC, marginal cost. So we will draw a marginal cost curve. So you can draw like this, or you can simply make a straight line. It's your choice, but it's convenient for me to draw like this only. So let me use a different color. So this is a marginal cost curve. So when MC curve intersects MR curve, we get the so when MR intersects MC, we get the equilibrium output. So here we get the equilibrium output at MR equals to MC, and if we further extend this, and when it touch the AR curve, we get the equilibrium price for it. Equilibrium price for it. So this is a price. So now we know that monopolist must be producing his commodity or an output at an cost. Okay, so now we will make an average cost curve. So the next step is making an average cost curve. So I am making an average cost curve. with red color, so it is AC. So after making the average cost curve, I get to know that the cost of making an output is this much, where the average cost curve intersects the equilibrium output. It is the cost of making for the monopolist. Now let me join this. So this area in blue color, it is the cost of making and commodity. And okay, but he is selling it at this much price, this much price. So the area, so we know that profit maximization is pi equals to ma- marginal revenue minus marginal cost. So he's selling it at this price, and the cost of making an output is this. So the area which is left for us and is shaded in red is the profit that the monopolist is earning. So I hope you must have understood this. So now the second condition. We know that the monopolist will only produce when P is more than MC or MR is more than equals to MC. This is also known as the Markov power. So here we have a graph. On the y-axis it is price, and on the x-axis it is quantity. So we have a so we have a price, and let us make an marginal cost curve. This is the marginal cost curve. Now we know that when the MC curve intersects the price line, we get the equilibrium quantity and equilibrium price. So now the monopolist must be producing this quantity at a cost. So we here draw average cost curve. So this is only for understanding. I am basically referring to HAL variant, but this graph is not there. So when a question is asked on profit maximization in monopoly, you must draw the first graph, this graph, then this one, and let's move ahead. Now the third is that in loss, a monopolist continues his production if he can cover his average variable cost. So the average cost have two components: the average variable cost and the average fixed cost. Average variable cost and the average fixed cost are different. Average fixed cost is the cost that the monopolist incurred only the average fixed cost is the fixed cost that the that anyone can incur when he is buying a machinery or something. For example, setting up an industry, we require machineries. So if we invest in machineries, it might work, the machineries might work for many years. So this is the fixed investment for us. Fixed investment, fixed investment, and it is also known as fixed cost. Now, for maintaining these machineries, we need certain equipments, labor. So this is known as variable cost. So here in loss, the production continues if monopolist can cover its average variable cost and when the price is more than average variable cost. Suppose the average variable cost for producing an extra unit is 10 rupees, but the monopolist is selling it at 9 rupees. So this will not work. The monopolist will be in loss and he will consider to shut down his firm. So let me explain it using an diagram. Suppose so here we have a price line and this is a quantity. So when the MC curve intersects the price line, or price line is also known as, so here price line can be related to MR equals to AR. So when the MC curve intersects the price line, we get the equilibrium quantity and equilibrium price. So suppose now we draw average cost curve. The cost incurred to the firm for producing this much quantity. Now a firm will only continue to produce if its average variable cost is met. So suppose 1 minute. So so we now make an average variable cost curve. This is average variable cost curve. So the average variable cost curve is below the average cost curve because we have studied earlier that average cost have two components, average variable cost and average fixed cost. So now here we can see that the here is the average variable cost. So we can see that the price is more than the price is more than the average variable cost. So here firm will continue to produce unless he is covering his average variable cost by keeping the prices more than its average variable cost.